Hello, this is your literacy assignment for 11-12, and I've decided to read this one to you. Normally, we don't read L2 levels. However, this one is a little bit trickier, and so I'm going to, just in case you need it. First of all, I will also read you the directions too. So, first, you want to read the text once for flow and then once for purpose. If you are listening, that could count too. And just make sure you're following along though, as otherwise you might miss something. Also, during the second read, you're going to want to make sure you're highlighting your important keywords and facts. Also, your third step is going to be to find a way to draw these facts in your note taker. And, how can you separate them or pair them if they were related? Because we're not going to necessarily have four clean paragraphs. So, how are you going to decide what goes in each box? Remember to write or draw the main idea of your source. Don't forget to write the title in the top of your note taker. And after you finished your notes, you need to go to your class Flipgrid and find today's assignment. You're going to want to record a video that explains your notes. Tell your teacher what you drew in each box and how it connects to the evidence you chose when you highlighted. So, if you draw a picture here and it's like some swirly thing, well, what does that mean? Right? You need to be able to articulate, that means explain what your notes actually mean, right? Because otherwise it could just be little random things that make no sense. So if you're doing visual notes, you have to be able to explain them because otherwise there's no point in note taking. Okay, here's the article. It goes quite a ways. There are actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 paragraphs here. So, if I were you, I would probably, I don't know, I'd probably just choose a couple that are shorter or have less information to combine, right? Maybe I'd combine these. I'd combine these. I don't know. It depends a lot on how much key information is in one paragraph. Okay, here we go. Let me read this title and the little intro here. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden sting? Ha ha ha. What is lovelier than a garden? Roses and daisies, they're a feast for the eyes and nose. Tomatoes and peppers, they're a treat for the taste buds. Yes, a garden is a delight for you, and also for things that sting. Be careful. Zipping past your petunias is one of the most dangerous animals in America. One you might see every summer day. It kills more people in the United States than any other venomous animal. Yet most of us are happy to see it fly by because without it we might not have such lovely petunias after all, or at all. Petunias are a type of flower, if you didn't know that. What is this bold critter? None other than the honeybee. Its scientific name is Apis mellifera. There are different types of bees. Many spread pollen to help our gardens grow. Some, such as carpenter bees, name is Xylocopa, are solitary. They nest in burrows or holes that the females carve in dead wood. These are the bees we are most familiar with, bumblebees, and honeybees live communally. So they're saying like some bees, like carpenter bees, are actually bees that kind of live by themselves. Even though, I think when we think of bees, most of us tend to think of bees that live in big communities. That's what they're saying when they live communally. So they live in a community where they work together. So they're different kinds, okay? Each colony has a strict social structure. The queen produces eggs. The female workers take care of the hive. They perform tasks such as gathering pollen and nectar, making honey, fighting off intruders, and building and repairing cells out of wax to store food and house larvae, the young. So these are the bees that live together and they all work together to do different things, right? The males, called drones, don't work at all, nor can they sting. They mate in midair with the queen and die shortly afterwards. Wow. So their main purpose in life is just to help the queen continue to have babies, it sounds like. Almost all bees are vegetarians, living on nectar and pollen from flowers. They use their venom strictly to protect themselves or their colonies. Oddly enough, some stingless bees, also known as Mellipanini, which have no venom at all, are the only meat eaters in this family. They live on carrion, which is rotting flesh, and other animal material instead of pollen, and they're nicknamed vulture bees. The bee stinger has developed over time from what was what, excuse me, the bee stinger developed over time from what was once its ovipositor, its egg-laying tube. In all, but one species, the honeybee stinger is barbed to hook and remain in the victim and to keep pumping venom. So they're saying that originally the bee stinger was an ovipositor, which is like a little tube that lays eggs. Then it sort of changed and developed over time into a stinger, and that most of these stingers stay hooked in the victim, all but one species, it looks like. As the bee flies away, the insect's abdomen tears, and the bee soon dies. Sometimes its victim dies too, especially if many bees have stung it. When workers near the hive sense danger, the bees give off an alarm pheromone, which is a chemical signal they can detect. This alerts all the hive's inhabitants, and they become ready to attack if necessary. If any of them do strike, the glands responsible for producing the alarm pheromone detach, along with the stinger giving off the signal to attack. And then there is more of this text, but I decided to just give you this first bit, okay? Because it was pretty long. So that's why it cuts off here, so don't worry about that, okay? And so the pheromones just essentially something they're producing through their glands. A gland is an organ, and they're producing a scent sort of that goes out in the air. We can't smell it. And honestly, even the bees themselves probably couldn't say, aha, that's the smell I know. They react automatically when that pheromone hits the air, and they just know by instinct when that smell happens that that is the signal for them to strike. Okay. Now, there's a lot here. I'd kind of go section by section. Remember, if you also think, I want 6 sections for all 6 paragraphs, you could split some of these too if you wanted to split 2 boxes up. Okay. Good luck.